Well, hello there. Welcome to the show. My name is Dit, Delta India Tango, and this is my buddy Da.
Delta Alpha Hotel.
We're up at Pickle Lake with the hamper, learning Da some radio.
Breaker 19er, this is the Roland Rambler. Do you have a copy? Over, Grover.
Whoa, back there, Tiger. You need a license to talk on there. That's not a CB radio.
Well, what's the difference? Uncle Jesse didn't have a license, and he talked to Jeb every night in the summer.
Ham radio allows us to transmit on more frequencies than limited channels on CB radio. Ham radio is a privilege licensed operators earn.
Well, who's going to care if little old me shouts over the airwaves?
Depending on your country, there are laws we have to follow. The license process educates the operators so that they can make successful communications around the world while not interrupting other wireless services.
Well, what happens if I don't have a license and transmit anyways? My cash flow is super low right now.
Well, in Canada, the license free, but you gotta pass an exam first. Ham radio requires a little bit of homework to get on the air, but wait until I show you a few things this week before you decide, Da. Let's tune into some CB and ham conversations and see if you can tell the difference in the structure.
You know what's gonna come next on that cat speaking in. Talking for radio. Charlie 9 United Delta Lima 59 Grove Tango Radio 003 Roger. Thank you, bye QLZ. Kilo 1 to contact Oscar Kilo 5 Zulu Oscar Kilo 1 5 on demand Oscar Kilo 5 Zulu contact Kilo 1 to the control. Contact Oscar Kilo 5 Zulu Oscar Kilo 1 5 on demand Oscar Kilo 5 Zulu contact.
I think the last one was ham radio, although I don't understand a thing what they're saying.
Well, it does take a bit of getting used to, Da, but hams talk in an organized way so that it helps during bad radio conditions and even when the other person doesn't speak your language. Ham radio signals reach all around the world. CB radio signals, not so much. They're greatly limited to mostly local activity. Let's head on into the hamper. I have a few radios I want to show you, Da, so you grab the cooler, I'll carry the laptop, and while we get set up, here's the latest Whisperin' Willie segment.
Whisperin' Willie uses the Whisper protocol built into his radio while connecting it directly to an atomic bomb for an antenna. Within minutes, listening stations around the world report what they hear back to a central database. Later in the show, we'll see a map of everyone who has heard Willie's signal. The Diefenbunker is a massive 4-story underground bunker built between 1959 and 1961. During the Cold War, top officials were to take shelter here in the event of a nuclear war. It was active as Canadian Forces Station CARP until 1994. Today, it operates as a not-for-profit charitable museum with award-winning tours and programs. The Cold War was a period between the end of the Second World War in 1945 and ends with the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989, followed by the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991. It was a period of tense conflict between the United States and the Soviet Union and each of the country's respective allies.
Welcome to the Hamper Camper. I have a few different radios to show Da. We will compare features you might want to look for before buying. In all examples here today, radios are receive only, so you don't need a license to use them.
Don't make this too complicated, Dit. I'm a slow learner.
Don't worry, Dodd, this will be very high level. This radio has a large speaker system to give you a deeper and more delicious sound, while other features include AM/FM for news, sports, and music. It has limited shortwave modes for global radio broadcast with the RF gain control to boost those weak signals. It has an extra large tuning dial with built-in antenna with an external port as options. This radio has everything the previous one has, plus a very special mode called upper sideband and lower sideband, USB LSB for short. These features allow you to tune in to ham radio, Morse code, military, and much, much more. And unlike the previous radio, this one has continuous coverage for all frequencies up to 30 megahertz. Radios that supports USB LSB modes are usually more expensive than the ones that don't. This is an emergency radio that has a rechargeable battery with built-in hand crank to generate electricity. It has a flashlight, AM, FM, and limited shortwave radio modes to pick up the world news. However, it does not have upper and lower sideband functions, which means no ham radio or other special signals. This is a weather radio that works with your local emergency notification system. The radio starts an alarm when there's an alert issued for your area. You could be alerted for tornadoes, hurricanes, floods, ice storms, as well as civil emergencies such as Amber Alerts, hazardous explosions, fires, and even chemical spills. But as this is a special radio, it doesn't have AM, FM, or shortwave radio on it. This pocket radio has a built-in speaker with headphone jack. It's super portable, giving you access to AM, FM, and weather stations. Some pocket radios even have shortwave modes, but you need a long wire antenna for best reception. This is a software-defined radio, or SDR for short. It offers a large screen to see radio signals for fun or specialized signal analysis. It can receive AM, FM, and shortwave signals with upper and lower sideband functionality. This screen is sometimes called a waterfall. This is also an SDR that's used with your computer. You need special software to control it. But don't let the size fool you. This little guy has more features than all the other radios shown so far. So I hope this gives you something to think about, doll. It'll make more sense as we go on. It's now time for the debunk segment. Hi, I'm 3R Darrryl. Common complaint I hear all the time from beginners: radio is dead. There ain't nothing but static. Questions I would ask would be, what time of day you listening? What frequency you on? What mode? What antenna? What type of content are you searching for anyway? The more questions you can answer improves your chances of receiving signals. Radio is a lot like golf, where antennas are the clubs and the course is the ionosphere. Today's airwaves are flooded with transmissions from ham radio, Morse code, plane and train communications, military, spy numbers, weather images, and much, much more. Start by tuning in to shortwave broadcast, taking note of the time of day and the frequency. Click on the link in the description below for a programming guide. This is 3R Darrryl, Victor Alpha 3, Golf Mike Golf, frequency clear.
Tonight's radio mode is Hellschreiber, or Hell for short. It's teleprinter technology used for communications over long distances. From the 1920s, it prints out characters onto paper, but today we use software instead. Next is a conversation between us and another station using the Hellschreiber mode. Note that CQ means calling all stations. This week's SSTV decode challenge is using mode Robot 36. Decoding hints are in the description and you can use your phone to do it. Volume warning, it's going to get really loud.
Seven three from Pickle Lake, Ontario.